welcome back to Motion RC. I'm James, and today we're doing an overview video and a step-by-step assembly of the version 2 of our Freewing 90mm T-45 Goshawk. So the Goshawk, when she came out, probably 6 years ago, I think, 6 or 7 years ago, around 2015, and one of the most super scale jets on the planet at the time. With the original version, had the front slats, you got the air brake, trailing link suspension, sequence doors, lighting throughout, really great cockpit detail, and overall at the time there was really nothing like it at that point on the market. But now it's been given upgrades to its power system. If you guys have been following Motion RC and Freewing, you know that all the models at one point got an upgrade to their from one outrunner to a better outrunner, and now this one's getting the in-runner upgrade. That's the main difference. You're getting the 1920 kV brushless in-runner inside, which really woke this baby up when they did it. But now she's coming with a 9 to 10% weight reduction because they decided to just remove the heaviest system in the plane, which was the leading edge slats. It was the type of thing that we just thought getting the more speed, getting the more power, and getting rid of that extra weight is going to make an already good flying model an even better flying model. So you should expect to see better flight characteristics. It should be easier to land because slats aren't for everybody. But you still got the air brake, you still got the sequence doors, everything else, nothing else has changed as far as that goes, but except you're now losing all the weight that was that flap system, because at the time it takes a lot of weight, extra weight, to get the servos and all the sequencing in there to make that work. So that's now gone. You've got the new in-runner motor inside, and again, she still looks absolutely gorgeous. Just have her on the table. Truth be told, this is my first time ever getting this model. This is still one of those few Freewing models I never saw in person myself. So I put it together in all of, I would say, 10 minutes it took us to put this together today. I was actually shocked how easy the assembly was. And overall, she is such a stunner, and I'm excited to fly her. I've flown the Freewing BAE Hawk, the 70mm, and this is going to be, the big daddy of that model, if you will. So for this video, we're going to start with the spec, then we'll show you all the parts laid out from the box, then we'll do a step-by-step assembly, and then we'll wrap it up, show you some of the features. I'll drop the gear, plug it in, and all that good stuff. And you can check all the time codes to each section is in the description of this video. So if you want to jump around, by all means, click the buttons down below. So let's get started with the spec. Alright, so the Freewing T-45 Goshawk, let's start right away with the wingspan. You're looking at a 44.8 inch wingspan, or 1138 millimeters, and her length is about 56.49 inches, or 1435 millimeters. Now, we spoke about the motor. It is a 3672 1900 kV brushless in-runner inside. That is going to be powered by a 130 amp ESC with an 8 amp UBEC. And then the EDF is a 90mm 9-blade fan on that motor. And then as far as the recommended battery, anywhere from a 4000 6S to a 6000 or bigger. You got plenty of space in the cockpit. Is going to power this bad boy, and you're going to need at least 8 channels to drive it, because you're going to have your throttle, aileron, elevator, rudder, flaps, landing gear, air brake, and then the UBEC. So if you have an 8-channel receiver, everything will fit in there nicely. If you don't, then you're going to have to wire some things together. But an 8-channel receiver is what you're going to want for this Goshawk. So that's a quick rundown of the overall spec. So now let's show you how it came out of the box. After you pull the cover off the box, you can see, like all Freewing models, everything boxed up very nicely within the foam. And taking the pieces out, you can see right off the bat, she is already covered in decals. You're not going to have to do any decaling on this model. So as I pull the one wing out, you can see the wing looks nice. They've replaced the old slats with just a plastic piece, which is great. So the whole front of the wing span, it's plastic covered. And you can see some of the plastic detail pieces on the top. Your gear is installed on there, and all the gear doors, which I love. All the servos are installed, and one thing I also like too, all your control rods and horns are already installed when you pull out of the box, so you don't even have to do that. That's why this model went together really, really quickly. But once you get your two main wings out, then you have all your ancillary pieces, and you'll see there's one little baggie, which is going to have glue. It has two extra control horns in case you need them. You don't have to, you know, put them on anything. That's just extra for you if you break one and you need one. And then in there, you're going to get one little bag of screws, which you'll see there's 4 compartments. So it's about 12 screws altogether is going to get this model together. Then you've got the foam fuselage, because you will have to glue the back part of the fuselage together. You're going to get a couple of these plastic pieces that you see here. They're going to be used mostly for the main wing and for the back of the nozzle. And then you're going to have your horizontal stabilizer, your vertical stabilizer, and then the big fuselage that comes out. And that's when you really get a gander of the size of this model. She's a significantly sized model. Then you have a lot of plastic scale details around it, like some plastic inlets, some exhaust, transmitter probes. Really taking a look just around the fuselage. It's impressive to look at. They really went all out with this one, and it still holds up right now. Still an absolutely gorgeous model, which I can't wait to fly because I have never flown this yet. So there's all the parts laid out on the table, and as you can see, there's not too much coming out of the box, which is great for those of us who don't want to spend a lot of time building. So I say, let's get started with a step-by-step assembly. Now, as far as assembly goes, guys, when you open up the manual, you will see it's just 1.5 pages of assembly, and and you're done. So that's why it goes really together really fast. So we're going to start by putting the fuselage together. So you're going to need these 2 pieces. This is the one little foam piece of the nozzle, and then the little plastic cover on the back. And you're going to use the glue that's provided. And this is like a foam tack type of glue. So what I like to do whenever I'm going to glue foam to foam, I like to carve it up a little bit with a razor blade. You can use sandpaper, just rough it up a little bit. It helps create a better adhesion, you know, than just doing foam to foam. So I do that on both sides. Then I place the glue all around one side. You want to push that together and then separate it right away and wait about 90 seconds. Let the air get into the mixture. It really helps with the adhesion. Then press it back on. And then you're going to use that same glue, and you can glue on that back plastic piece. And then what I like to do, let gravity help you out, just stand it up, lean it up against something, stand it up for about 10 minutes just to let that glue good and dry. And then we can get on to step 2. So now step 2 is going to be the entire tail section. So we'll start with the horizontal stabilizer. So the horizontal stabilizer is going to fit very easily. The only thing you're going to have to do is make your 2 servo connections, because you have 2 servos driving the elevators, one on each side. So those connections are taped into where your rudder will be, so just pull those out. The first 2 towards the far aft plane are going to be your elevators. So get those plugged in, and again, you're going to use yellow to yellow or white to yellow, because one servo in the back is a reverse servo. That's why it has the black, white, and red lead, not the yellow, brown, and red lead, if that makes sense. But either way, just get those plugged in with your polarity being correct. And then it's going to fit in there nice and snug, and you're going to come over to your baggie, and you're going to open this compartment. The compartment has 6 2.6 by 10 screws. We're just going to need 4 of them. So grab 4 of those screws and drive them in, and you're done with the horizontal stabilizer. And then you can move right to the vertical stabilizer. So that is going to use the other lead that is taped down inside there. Pull that out. Make sure you make the connection. Again, yellow to yellow. Get your polarity correct. Once that connected, you can push the wire right down in. The vertical stabilizer is going to fit on top. And then you're going to go back to your baggies of screws. And you're going to use the flush mount screws. So you can see there's 4 of them in there. They're the 3x6 millimeters. And you're going to drive in all 4 of those, 2 on each side. And at this point, you'll be done with the entire tail section. So now we move over to step 3. As far as the book, it's installing the entirety of the main wing. So the first things first, grab your 2 carbon spars. They are taped together like so. One is longer than the other, so we're going to start. You want the shortest spar to be towards the front of the wing, and the longer spar goes aft. So I put those spars on one side of the wings, and then I fit them together. And now flipping the wing over so you're on the bottom side, this is where you're gonna screw the wings together. So you're gonna go over to your compartment. You're gonna see at this point you'll have 2 untouched packages of screws. You have 4 big fat ones, which are going to be what connects the main wing to the fuselage. But then you have this one individual screw all by itself. That is a screw that's going to hold the wings together. So you'll see there's one little spot. When you push them together, screw that screw in. Now the wings can't separate. Then you're going to take all these plastic pieces. So you should have 3 pieces. 2 of them are going to be used as covers and help connect the fuselage to the wing, and then 1 is your inlet, you know, your air intake, your cheater hole, if you will, on the bottom. So make sure when you glue that one in, because you're going to glue that in, just make sure you're gluing it in the proper direction where it's going to feed air into the fan, not reverse. Then once that's glued in, turn your fuselage over, and again, you're going to use the last 4 screws that are in their own compartment, and they are the big fatter ones. They are the 4x10s. Drive in all 4 of those. And then you'll have 2 remaining screws from when you did your horizontal stabilizer, and they're going to go in those outer holes on the main wing. So you're going to want to screw those 2 in as well. And then at this point, you have a mostly built T-45 Goshawk, and your last step here is going to be all the little peripherals. The nose cone is magnetic, so you could just stick that on. If you want to glue it on, if you don't think you're ever going to want to take it off, then you can do that as well. Then you have a couple little peripheral bits. The big white part with do not paint on it's going to go on the top of the fuselage. And then you have 2 for the nose. And then that's pretty much it for your step-by-step assembly of the T-45 Goshawk. And just like that, super simple to put this monster, it's a big plane, together. I actually couldn't believe it. It was great that you didn't have to do all the busy work. All your control linkages, you know, are installed. Obviously, when you plug it in, you want to check, make sure things are centered and such. I don't appear to have an issue there. I have not done any sort of rates. I'm going to follow the book based on, remember, in the manual, there's a whole page of rates. There's rates for the air brake, and I'll talk about what I end up flying it when I do a new flight video on this model, as far as that goes. And then I'm going to fly it by the book CG, which is 63 millimeters, I believe, from the leading edge. But we'll check that again. You're going to want to check the flight review. I'll go over that in that portion. But right now, having it here, I plugged in my receiver. So again, I'm flying on Futaba, and one of the things right off the bat you'll see, they give you a really long lead because there's one LED that lights up in the cockpit that can plug in because we have the multifunctional, you know, the blue box, your control board in there. So I have that plugged into just an open port that says light on it. In there, and they give you a lot of lead, which is great because when you open your canopy, just, you know, you got to try to remember that it's plugged in, you know, that you don't rip the connection out or make a break. So they gave you a lot of, you know, play there where you can catch yourself, you know, if you're gonna do, I don't know who opens their canopy and rips it open that fast, but just be careful with that. Or you can plug it in and, you know, as you wish. You don't have to, you don't even have to fly with it plugged in if you don't want. Now again, I don't have my battery in here where it's supposed to go, but you can see there's plenty of space inside for, you know, a lot of battery space. In here, your blue box is already mounted up top, so you're just plugging in your ribbon cables from your wing and then making your 8 connections to your receiver. So again, that was aileron, elevator, throttle, rudder, landing gear, flaps, air brake, and the UBEC, all on an 8-channel receiver for you there. And again, easy access and things. So let me get it plugged in. So I got my receiver, my transmitters on. I'll make the connection. So we can, first thing you'll notice right off the bat are the LEDs. So again, you have a triple flash or a double flash here, single flash, and those are all different options. You can plug these, you can pull these leads out of the blue box and put them, you know, these blue boxes are great because for the lights, because they have all different, some are strobe, some are triple flash, double flash. You know, you can move it all around. Like the cockpit, I just plugged into light, and you can see it here. It's a little green light inside. What is a pretty awesome scale cockpit. I love the detail inside the cockpit, which is great as far as the pilots and their, you know, panels and such. Now, taking a look at the gear, I will, well, you know what? Let me close the canopy quick. Again, I don't have anything mounted down, but there we go. And it's just a clasp setting. I'm opening, I'll hold it like that. I think I can hold it like that and not, oh. Hit the gear, so your sequence doors will open. And then the sequence doors will all shut, which is great. And then opening them back up, nice and scale. Sweet. Now, as far as the gear goes, again, as I said earlier, I might not have, the front nose gear is Oleo suspension, a lot of suspension there, and then the back are trailing link, which again, a lot of suspension there. And at the time when this was a heavier model, you know, that was really great, and now it's even better now that it's a little lighter. Then in the back, I have right now the air brake. You'll see I have not set it up, but there are rates in the book for this. You're never gonna have it open full 90 degrees, I don't think, like that, but they're very quick, you know. They move right away, which is great. So you probably put them on a 3-position switch, so you can have, you know, the book is calling for a low rate and a high rate of your air brake. But again, that's just there to help you out. You have flaps, and again, I don't have them set up. This is just full right now. Everything is full. So it would be full barn doors, but you would set them up, you know, how you wish and go by the book. And then aileron, elevator, and rudder with the steerable nose steering is there. And again, calling out the LEDs, red on the left, green on the right, 1, 2, 4, so top, 5 in here, and then 1 strobe on the bottom where my hand is down here. You can see. So all around, I'm super excited. I never got a chance to fly this model. I know when she first came out, you know, with all that weight, she was sluggish in the air. She flew well, but she was a little heavy. But now that, you know, the motor's been upgraded a couple times, but now we're on the most efficient one we've got thus far. And then taking 10% again of weight off by not having those leading edge slats, which, although cool, aren't necessarily needed. I mean, is an air brake even needed on the back? They could have ripped that out too, as far as I was concerned. I'm not too scaled. If they just left the look there, I'd be just as happy. But all around, you're still getting that, which is great. And, you know, it's just going to take what was a good flying model and hopefully make it even better. I'm excited to get out with it. So if I have flown it already, check the link in the description, because I always go back and update it. I'll put the flight video link in there, but if it's not there yet, that means we haven't filmed that video yet, or we're in the editing process of getting that one together, or I crashed it, which you never know. So you might have to wait for me to build another one to fly it. But no, I have no fear of a T-45 Goshawk. It should be a beautiful flying aircraft, and I'm excited to get outside with it. So guys, again, in that flight video, I'll show you my CG there and where I end up with my battery. I'm probably gonna fly it between a 6000 Admiral and the 5100 Carbon. They're both way about the same. That's what I'll usually fly my 90s on. And we'll see how it goes with that video. So if you have any questions though about the assembly, which you really shouldn't, it's very straightforward. But if you have any questions at all about anything, let us know in the comment section of this video below. Remember, as always, sub, spin, and win. We're always giving away a prize every Friday during our live show, so you want to check that out for sure. And be a subscriber, of course. Click the bell for your chance to get your name called, spin the wheel to win a prize. And other than that, guys, that'll do it for me, James, and Alex behind the camera. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you've got your Goshawk, let us know in the comments what you think about it. If you have the new V2 one, let us know what you think about it as well. And either way, we'll see you for the next video on Motion RC. Bye, guys.